you'll actually finish? Because I know it says 35 minutes, but
About 32.
nice. Sweet. Should be on right now. Yep, that would be it. So whenever you guys are ready to give the countdown, just go right ahead.
Alright, before we start, I'm gonna give myself a couple more lives. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice.
Alright, so welcome everyone. This is Mickey's Wild Adventures, also known as Mickey Mania. I am WLP Beta, and with me is Liam Piper.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So in this game we play as Mickey Mouse. However, as the game was meant to be advertised, it's not the same as most other Mickey Mouse games out there. It's not all roses and flowers and Minnie and all of that stuff. Instead, pretty much everyone is an enemy.
Yeah, I believe the game was meant to be developed as the 65th anniversary. I think it was meant to be released in 1993, but they had a couple of issues in development, so they had to delay it.
Yes, so this was released in 1994. The PS version was released in 1995. This game is on 4 platforms: PS1, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis and Sega CD. Here we have a bit of a waiting section as we wait for Pete. As you saw there, I jumped on a bird. That's a bit of a skip. I skip having to go all the way around.
I think going the other way around is about 10 to 15 seconds longer, if I'm not mistaken.
But probably not that long. I mean, this is all about when Pete starts to move, because he doesn't spawn until a certain point. Here I throw a marble early, so I hit him as early as I can. Why were there 2 Mickey Mice? That's a good question. Anyway, we're coming up on the crane boss. Just need to not fail these bit hard jumps on the crates and... Oh no, I fell! Ah, just kidding.
Oh god.
Just kidding, there's a secret area down here where we can get some health and lives. And skip the boss fight completely. Anyway, here, second cartoon of the game, there are 6 in total. This is the Mad Doctor. First of all, I did a bit of a strat right there. I hit the bat and jumped on it so that I wouldn't take damage. This run is all about health management. The damage system in this game doesn't make us slow down or anything. Why am I grey screen? I don't know why there's a grey screen. Is anything going wrong with the stream? I see comments in chat. Anything? No?
I think it's just the fact that they said you haven't got quality options.
The what?
Understandable. That you don't have quality options.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm not too sure.
Here I go. Look out.
Do I have to... if the hosts are here, do I have to like stop? Should I stop?
No, keep on going. This is I think on our end that we're messing up.
So here we have the tower level. We're just going down. A bit of a 3D level. Break from all the 2D levels.
So a quick fun fact about this particular screen. This screen is not in the Super Nintendo version. It goes straight from the scene that you saw before, straight onto the next scene that we're about to see. It is on the Genesis version, I believe, as well.
Yes. Some of the levels in the run will be not featured on all platforms. That's an example of that.
Yeah.
Some other examples include a boss fight before the final boss and a chase at Beanstalk.
Mm.
Anyway, coming up is the first autoscroller of the game. There are like 5 autoscrollers in total. This one we can't really do much to speed it up, but if we kill the skeletons as fast as possible, then the elevator doesn't stop for as long as it would normally. There's a large window for that though, so...
Yeah, it's a pretty fair window in terms of jumping up and hitting the skeleton.
Apparently my stream is running flawlessly.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's running absolutely fine for me.
Anyway, we're coming up on the Mad Doctor fight. In case you missed it, you missed what I said earlier, there are six cartoons in the game. There's a second one, and most of them have some kind of boss fight. Some of them we skip. Anyway, here in true Mickey Mouse style, we're gonna make a bomb,
Yeah.
a chemical bomb. We're gonna blow up a door.
Yeah, the hit detection on the glass jar, it can sometimes be a little bit trolly.
Yes, you can totally miss the jar with the fluids even though they go in. So you have to be careful not to push it too quickly.
Gee, I wonder who's in here.
And here's the Mad Doctor. We just hit stun him, stun lock him 6 shots. And after the fight, there's actually an unskippable cutscene. To avoid that, I want to damage boost through and get to the other side to make it as short as possible. And prepare your baby rage emotes in chat.
I was just about to say, baby rages I think were appropriate for this. I also like for the entirety of this cutscene, Mickey's just looking at his stopwatch like most of us speedrunners do when we see this cutscene.
Yes, it's
He's just
he's bored.
pretty much like, he's bored, he's like, get on with this, come on, please, hurry up.
Anyway, coming up is the third cartoon, Moose Hunters. Here we have some very precise damage boosts that we do to skip as much of the level as possible. Normally we would have to like wait for all the branches and the rocks, but we take 3 hits in order to skip as much as possible.
Yeah, because
So-
normally if you wait, you normally sometimes would have to jump. You'd have to go to right, but then jump slightly left to avoid the branches, and it's a little
Yeah.
bit finicky at times.
If you saw, I did a damage boost on 3 branches. That's pretty precise to do because the iframes wear off pretty quickly. So in order to damage boost on 3 branches in a line, I need to jump very late. If I don't jump, I get stuck on the ground for a bit. And here is yet another autoscroller. We have a nice 3D level with a moose chasing us. There are apples on the ground, which give us some speed. I see the baby rage is coming in, so we're somewhat delayed. Anyway, if you have donations, this is the time for it.
Let me go see real quick. We have not gotten any donations
Alright,
yet.
that's fine.
But we do have the next one now. Kid in the Cat Enchanted Castle 15 minutes by Lash next. So.
Oh yeah, definitely don't miss that. Oh. The hitbox on that rock actually stands very far to the left.
Yeah,
Oh,
some
wow.
of the hitboxes as well, they're very, very annoying to deal with, because you think you're going to make it over, but Mickey just stumbles.
The whole game has very annoying hitboxes because Mickey Mania was the first Disney game that was not worked on by game animators but by Disney animators.
Yeah.
So the hitboxes don't line up with the visual models.
Yeah, they seem to be more extended to the sides occasionally. Like, they seem to be more extended to either one side or the other, depending on which sprite it is.
So here is the 4th out of 6 cartoons with a nice 3D effect at the start. This is Lonesome Ghosts. Oh, I missed a halt. You know, here we jump into the exit area. No, don't wait. You have much to live for. I'm gonna wait on the second ghost as well, because I have one less health point than I normally do. So here's a bit of a skip right there, otherwise you have to go to the right and go on like a couple of platforms. But that skip is like so easy, even casual players do it.
Yeah. See, an interesting thing about this room with the Super Nintendo version is there are actually a couple of stair skips. So, for example, instead of the stairs falling with Mickey sliding down, you can actually jump. If you jump perfectly, you actually just jump over them. Although it does freeze Mickey in place for about half a second.
You got fast stairs, nice.
Nice one.
Those stairs are very annoying. To do them fast is pretty precise. Anyway, I should talk about the differences between easy and normal. This is on normal difficulty. On easy we take half as much damage, so we can do a lot more damage abuse. On hard, it's exactly like normal, but there are no checkpoints, so we can't do death abuses. So we don't play no hard. Now here I'm gonna take a bit of an intentional death. What happens with death is it costs about 4 seconds, but we get all our health back. And if we've taken a checkpoint, we respawn pretty much exactly where we died, or more precisely, where we last touched the ground.
It's definitely a very cool checkpoint system, especially when it comes to speedrunning it, because the last thing that we would want is to take a death and then have to go back a decent way.
Oh yeah.
Especially with some of the damage boosts in this section.
I got a bit of a slow ghost over there. Usually spawns much more on the left. But yeah, the biggest part of the run is health management and death management, I guess. So we have to be careful exactly where we take damage and where we die. We're coming up on the 5th cartoon, Mickey and the Beanstalk.
Now I think there's a trick coming up that's actually this version exclusive, isn't there?
It's on this and also on Genesis.
Ah.
It's not on Super Nintendo because the butterfly is missing.
Yeah. I think the only reason why the butterfly is missing is due to sprite limitations on the Super Nintendo.
Possibly, yeah. So you saw I jumped on the butterfly to get onto the mushrooms. If I don't do that, I have to do like a bunch of stuff on the right, which takes like 20 seconds, maybe?
Yeah, what the game expects you to do there at the bottom is actually you get like a plant pot and you push it underneath the water. And you have to wait for a plant to grow, and yeah, it's pretty slow. There's even been occasions where I've not grown the plant large enough, and I actually have to go back again and regrow it, and it's just frustrating.
Oh yeah. Now we're down in the tunnels. Watch out, there are baby spiders coming from the ceiling. Very spoopy.
Very, very spooky.
They even have diapers. Oh, I pressed down. And if you're spooked by spiders, definitely close your eyes because now we have a big spider. The mother. With even
I
a...
remember as a child, this spider actually scared me.
Oh yeah. It's an insta-kill if we run into it.
Here, boy.
A marble just passed through the fucking butterfly. Another... Wow, twice. Here we have a bit of slow platforms coming up. If I did this fast enough, I would be able to skip a cycle over here, but I don't think I was fast enough for that. Yes, I did it. Now these beetles can hurt you during their dying animation, so we need to watch out for that.
If anything, the beetle hitboxes are some of the weirdest.
And now Tabor, a level where we can hold right all the time if we do it correctly.
She's my favorite.
Double kill on the butterflies, that's really cool. And there we go, that was perfect.
Nice one.
And coming up is the second to last auto-scroller of the game,
Yeah.
which is yet another chase level. So just like the last one, we are being chased not by a moose this time, but by a giant, Willy the Giant. And this one is actually harder because there are fewer apples around, so I might slow down if I don't do this perfectly.
The apples as well, I believe, as well, a little bit more scarce as well.
Yeah. And instead of rocks, we have mushrooms.
Now this auto-scroller as well, if you've ever played the Super Nintendo version, was also omitted. It seems to me that just the Super Nintendo just couldn't deal with all the levels that they wanted in the original
This
one.
one is actually exclusive on PS1. It's not even on Sega CD. Like, Sega CD is... it looks almost the same as this, but this autoscroller is not there.
Also, the Sega CD load times as well are frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, slow down a bit there, but it's fine. Alright, now, if the game was pretty tame up to here, don't worry, it's gonna amp up the difference a lot, the difficulty. So, we're coming up on Prince of the Pauper, which is the last cartoon of the game, but by far the longest. It's like 12 minutes long.
This is also where easy mode stops, doesn't it? I believe, this particular stage.
Yes, on easy mode you can't access this level without level select.
Because the game basically tells you that you're not worthy, and I think its quote says, try playing this on a different difficulty to see the end.
Missed the jump. This whole level is a huge monk ass.
Yeah.
Health management is very hard.
If you don't wipe out those enemies that WRP beat and knocked out there, then you would be having a lot of trouble with health, because they can just hit you like there's nobody's business.
There you might have noticed I ran through a crossbow bolt that was being shot at me. That's weird hitboxes. I haven't talked about iframes of the enemies yet, but if you shoot the enemies and they don't die in one hit, they have some iframes in which you can't hurt them and they can't hurt you. So in that case, I throw a marble at the weasel, I pass through the weasel, and then I also pass through a crossbow bolt for some reason. I don't know why that happens.
I'm not too sure why, as I say, it's just the hitboxes in this game are just... The only best way I can describe them is just questionable.
Inconsistent as well.
Very inconsistent.
So here I don't have the health necessary for the skipping dungeon, sadly. So I'll have to do without it, and hopefully not die before the checkpoint. Dungeon is by far the most difficult level.
Yeah, I think the main problem with this particular screen is the fact that the enemy placement is
I died.
very difficult to deal with. And also the hitboxes on those spinning cogs as well is they're somewhat larger than you expect them to be.
Well, I died there, so I'm back at the start of dungeon, but now we can actually do a bit of a skip. We jump from the platform early. I'll point it out. What's the story of the game? There's pretty much no story. You're rescuing the Mickeys from the various cartoons, if that makes any sense.
The only way I call it Mickeyception, pretty much. You're basically going to other cartoons as modern Mickey and kind of revisiting his legacy almost.
Yeah. I did the early jump there and I'm gonna do it again here. Not supposed to jump that early. Now we have taken the checkpoint, so we can die if we want to.
Especially this particular section is very difficult. Because those fireballs can sometimes be a little... Are they random? Or
They
are
are
on timers?
not random, but they're on a global timer, so they change
Yeah.
depending on whether you have died or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you die, I think the global timers reset, so
Yeah.
that's lovely. Here I'm gonna take a death, so I am full health at the next part, which is tower. Right, we're done with saving all the Mickeys. That was the last one. And now we have a big scary fire that's coming up from under the tower. For some reason, I don't know why. And the reason...
Sorry, carry on.
And the reason I want full health in this is because some of the crates are very hard to skip, others are pretty hard to skip. So we don't want to die here, there's no checkpoint.
I was going to mention that on the Super Nintendo version as well, so the projectiles are actually a little bit more difficult because of the way that the Super Nintendo version does the perspective. Like for some reason, sometimes it may look like that the projectile's closer than it actually is, and the hitboxes are a lot worse to deal with as well. Also, the ascent sequence as well in the Super Nintendo is also much longer than that.
Anyway, here we have the last auto-scroller of the game. This one we can actually get ahead of. We can go ahead of the screen. I have done it in TAS, but the problem with that is that there's a rope that I need to grab later, and that doesn't spawn until the screen gets there, so I'll only be going ahead of the screen at the very end, which is now. And there we go. And now the scariest part of the game, I guess, apart from dungeon. lots of enemies. We won't be killing any of them because they take 3 hits and that's way too much. Oh wow, I almost fell.
Also, the Mickey Tarzan noises here as well.
Yeah. That's also, I think, only on PS1.
Yeah, a lot of Mickey sounds. Some of the sound bites are PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, I fell. Whatever. I respawned pretty close to there. Whew. We're done with Prince and the Pauper. That was not a particularly good one, but then again, that's never particularly good. Here is
Very, very difficult to get that right.
yeah, here is the final boss. It's this is like 3.5 minutes auto-scroller, pretty much,
Yeah.
kinda. We have to just go left and go right and repeat that like 6 times. And this boss is exclusive to PS1 and Sega CD. It's not on the other versions. And if we fall in the pits, we start it all over again, which is lovely.
I do like how in between the particular hits, the boss is just frozen, doing nothing, just standing there.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for the next hit almost.
Anyway, so all the Mickeys that we saved, and also the ones that we didn't save, are coming to help us with Pete. I jump off earlier from the rope there, so I don't take damage from that guy, but I still took damage. Never mind. The health and marbles respawn, so we're not too pressed for health in this part.
One of the other problems with this particular screen as well is that as well as the health respawn, the enemies also do respawn.
Yeah, so killing them is pretty much pointless. I'm gonna grab the rope from behind, which is pretty cool. This is the 4th hit, 2 more to go, and then we have the actual final boss.
I always love that one with the moves.
Yeah, how did the move get in here? So many
How did
questions.
it ascend the tower when it's technically on fire?
Just a reminder, we have Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle next. 80% by Lash.
Oh yeah, definitely watch that.
That's definitely a good run to watch.
Followed by Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. That's gonna be exciting too.
I love the music in this part, it's pretty cool.
The PlayStation soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh yeah. Sadly, the best track is the one for the crane boss, which we skip, so too bad. Actually, the Sega CD has the crane boss song in this part, but PS1 doesn't, for some reason. And the music on Sega CD is exactly the same as PS1, except worse quality. Alright, that was the last hit, and now we have the final boss. Because it's not enough that we are carrying Pete away, now we need to actually kill him.
Mm.
Captain of the Guard. And this is a pretty long fight, we have to like wait for him to send down some spikes. Now he dies in 4 spike hits and 4 wrecking ball hits. However, there is a way that let me talk about the quick kill. Long ago, when I was doing runs on easy, there was one time when for some reason Pete died in 3 wrecking ball hits instead of 4. And so that never happened for a while after that, so I thought it was just some weird stuff with the emulator. That was never gonna happen again. However, just a couple of days ago in practice, that happened again. So I had to like go take a look at what exactly causes that, and I found that you can make that consistent. Also, we're gonna hit the switch before it appears. Anyway, you can make the third hit kill him consistently, but it's in two parts. The first part of the setup is a 2-frame window, and the second part is a 4-frame window, so it's almost frame perfect.
Get out of the way, you big bully!
Let's see if we can make it here, but I kinda doubt it. So get ready on time. Yeah, happened, time.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. That was the
Sweet.
third hit. Anyway, we have a bit of a plug here. Well done, Mickey. Mighty Pete has been defeated, and Mickey can start working on his next animated cartoon. Watch for it coming soon. You heard it here. Watch for it coming soon. And lastly, I have a bit of a nice thing to show. I actually took the liberty to mod the game, so we have some nice credits over here. I'll let them roll.
Nice. So for now we have no donations. We are still raising money for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's a valiant cause, guys. I would encourage you to donate to this. All proceeds go to them. And our next run is going to be Alex Kidd in the Castle. That was a good run, guys. I loved it. Bar a few minor problems.
Yeah, technical problems, but yeah, we're done. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next run.
See you next time.
Guys. We'll see you next time.